That means watch faster, although you'll have to get through Marineford, hold on. So today, I got up to episode 500 of One Piece, and there is a whole lot to talk about this time, so buckle up, Buttercup, because this is going to be a wild ride. So, since episode 400 of One Piece, I've seen the rest of however the you say that, Maiden Island, Impel Down, Marineford, and the beginning of the longest backstory of all time. First of all, the end of the mangrove biome arc was incredibly gripping and emotional, and Luffy's meltdown was voice acted incredibly. At least it was in the sub, I don't know about the dub, but it was probably arse. Anyways, the one thing I did find kind of dumb about this was how damn long it took for Borsalino to laser Zoro's head in. Now, obviously this is a pacing issue that will probably be fixed in the remake, and don't worry, we will get to the Marineford pacing later. But you could also argue that Borsalino was threatening the other Straw Hats because he knew that there was nothing they could do to stop him, but it still felt way too long. But again, it'll probably be fixed in the remake. Then Kuma rocks up and smacks everyone halfway across the earth. Now I want to talk about where the Straw Hats ended up, because I find some way more interesting than others. Robin's was definitely the most interesting and serious, and I thought Brooks was amazingly creative. Sanji's was interesting, but Nami, Chopper, and Frankie's I just could not care less about, especially when they shove episodes about them in between Impel Down and Marineford. Like, come on! And Zoro's was pretty good. It was interesting to see the girl from Thriller Bark again, even if she is a bitch. But as for Luffy, he ended up on the greatest island I have ever seen. The Maiden Island arc was not only very visually pleasing, but also quite entertaining. It also introduced us to Boa Hancock, and her delusions that Luffy loves her back is so funny and relatable. I love it. But anyway, Impel Down was epic. Never in my life did I expect the return of Mr. 123 Crocodile and Buggy the Clown. Well, I knew Buggy was coming back, but everyone else was a complete shock, especially since they all had their own redemptions, of which were all so well done, especially Bon Clay, but we will get to that, don't you worry. We also got Kenpo and Inazuma, I don't fucking know, who are both great characters, even if Inazuma's powers defy every law of physics imaginable. But hey, it's One Piece, what do you expect? I'm just interested to see how they tackle him in the live action if they don't cut him out, which seems most likely, to be honest. The Warden was one of the most threatening villains I've seen so far. Like, this dude's powers are insanely powerful. Anyway, we then got Jinbei, who isn't a Straw Hat right now, but I know he becomes one eventually, so I'm going to talk about him in this video. I think he's a very well written character, and having a fishman on the crew will be very interesting to see. Bon Clay's sacrifice. This was the saddest scene so far. I never thought Mr. King 2 would have such a noble sacrifice. He will live on in my heart forevermore. Anyways, on to Marineford. This arc was truly one peak. Apart from the pacing issues, but as I said, we'll get to that later. I would talk about how shocked I was at the epic twist of Gold Roger being Ace's father, but a certain video on my YouTube recommended already spoiled that for me, so thanks Nicholas. Whitebeard is an absolute beast though. Like, his devil fruit power makes me erect. Sorry, I got a little carried away there. Anyways, big war happens, whoop-de-doo. I'm not going to go over everything because we'll be here all day. I just want to go over the important parts, mainly the end, when Ace gets turned into a glory hole, which again, I already knew about mainly due to the video I made in which I watched every 100th episode of One Piece without context.
What the fuck? Oh, someone died? Alright.
But I probably would have found out anyway, so don't blame my amazing video idea. I will stand with that video until the day I die. In fact, the idea was so good, it inspired not one, but 2 YouTubers to watch every 100th episode of Naruto, so kiss my ass.
Before we get started, I do want to give a shout out to Owena. He did this with every 100th episode of One Piece, and that's where I got the idea from.
But yes, Ace's death was still very sad, wow. But on the other hand, Whitebeard's death was peak, and brought us the infamous line that is,
The One Piece! The One Piece is real!
But the peak doesn't end there, oh no. There is one more thing that I was only partially spoiled for this time, and that is that Blackbeard ends up gaining a second devil fruit power. However, I was not spoiled for the fact that that power was Whitebeard. Like, that's mad, honestly. But as the war comes to an end, things aren't looking good for Luffy and Jinbei, as they're about to get killed by the Magma Man, until the GOAT Crocodile shows up and saves them from certain death. But Luffy and Jinbei still seem hopeless, as they cannot go anywhere. That is up until the GOAT, Buggy the Clown, shows up and carries them away. But Luffy and Jinbei still have no hope of escaping Marineford alive. That is until the GOAT, Trafalgar Law, rocks up in his Goatmobile and takes them back to Maiden Island with the help of Boa Hancock. But then, at episode 493, a series of episodes about Luffy and Ace's childhood begins. And it's still ongoing by episode 500. The only thing I want to comment on with this backstory is Sabo, because I know he becomes an important character post-time skip, and obviously I can't really give my opinions on him yet because, well, I've only seen him as a child, but I do hope he turns out to be a good character going forward. And I like his design, he has a very cool hat. Now, I told you I'd talk about it eventually, so here we go. Marineford's pacing is arse. Like, dude, I do not need to see a still image of every character in a 5-mile radius reacting to Whitebeard getting stabbed. I also don't need to see the same Kobe flashback from a previous episode around 5 or so times. Like, by the 4th, I genuinely burst out into laughter, because it was just so stupid how many times they used that same flashback. God, I can't wait for the remake. Anyway, that's that, I guess. Let's get on to the opening tier list and reaction to my own video. Okay, so here's the tier list again. Welcome back to the tier list. We have 3 more openings to put in this time. We have Kaze wo Sagashite. Alright, this one, I'm pretty sure it was sung by the Straw Hats again, like the We Are Straw Hat version. And this opening, it was pretty good. But I think it's a solid B for me. I don't think it could go any higher or lower, you know? One Day is really good. Very good. It's very different, but it's really good. I think it just about makes an S. And Fight Together, I think it's another solid B. It's, you know, it's nothing amazing, but it's good. And yeah, that's gonna conclude the tier list for today. Okay, let's take a look at myself and see how I reacted to episode 500 the first time around. Let's give it a go. Alrighty.
This opening is also okay. Bon Voyage is better.
Dude, that's so real.
Brother, that was his brother? That's his brother. Yep. I don't know.
I actually got that right.
Right, so this kid here, right, is that guy we saw in the opening that I said was Luffy's brother. Because, right? What the fuck is that thing? If they're not related, then, like, that's just, like, the animator's fault for making them look similar. I'm not wrong.
I mean, they're not even, like, biologically related, so it doesn't even matter.
I'm coming!
He said coming.
He did say coming, that was pretty funny. Alright, that was it for the episode 500 video. Now, there were probably things I forgot to talk about because there was a lot that happened, but yeah, that's the basics of it. And now there's one more thing I want to say, and that is that I am relatively close to 10k subscribers, so I want to do something special when I get there, but I'm not sure what. So if you have any ideas, slap them in the comments, you know. But other than that, that's it for this video. And I do want to mention I am going to make a new video soon where I go over the all the other One Piece openings that they made in like different languages and put them in the tier list. That'll be its own video soon. I don't know when, but soon. And yeah, that's pretty much it. As I've said 3 times, I'll see you later, alligator.